Hello boys and girls, it's Mrs. Eastman and I'm going to read another story for you today. I'm reading this to Mr. Hutchison's class to send out for remote learning, but I may also send it out to some of my reading students because you might enjoy it too. It's another book about the growth mindset. I already read the Bubblegum Brain one. I've read Your Fantastic Elastic Brain. And this kind of goes along with it. I was given this book from my daughter Katie, who is a Disney Imagineer. And Disney Imagineer is somebody who works for Disney, and it's kind of part imagination and part engineering. And it's really hard to get this job, so she was very lucky, but she's very creative, an out-of-the-box thinker, super talented. And it just ended up great for her. Now what Imagineering does, all right, they come up with all the blue sky ideas for Disney. So they invent things. They invent new ideas for the parks so you can go and enjoy them. It's kind of like the sky's the limit. And if you can dream it, you can do it. That was Walt Disney's philosophy. So she actually bought me this book down in Disney Springs because she knows I love books and that I'd like to share this with you, and I haven't had a chance to share it with anybody yet. So you're the first ones. Thank you for letting me read it to you. Now, the story is called What Do You Do with an Idea? Now, all great things start with an idea. It just depends. Do you follow through with them or do you give up on them? And the idea in this story is this little egg with a crown. And I think the author chose the little egg because you don't know what's going to hatch out of it. What great idea is going to be born? This story is written by Kobe Yamada, illustrated by May Bessem, and it's a New York Times bestseller. And if you notice right here, she also got me the little egg. So I have this wonderful little egg with a crown, and on the egg it says, what do ideas become? So think about it right now. With this virus, we have these scientists out there trying to figure out how to treat it and how to make vaccines for it. And so they have to think out of the box because it's never been created before. We have artists creating masterpieces. We have authors creating books. We have inventors inventing new things for us to use every day that change the world. So you know what? You could be one of these people in the future. You could have a great idea. I want you to think about that as I read this story. What do you do with an idea? One day, I had an idea. Where did it come from? Why is it here? I wondered, what do you do with an idea? And the idea is represented by that little tiny egg. At first, I didn't think much of it. It seemed kind of strange and fragile. I didn't know what to do with it, so I just walked away from it. I acted like it didn't belong to me. He's not sure what to do with his idea. But it followed me. It was always in his mind. I worried what others would think. What would people say about my idea? I kept it to myself. I hid it away and didn't talk about it. I tried to act like everything was the same as it was before my idea showed up. So this little person is not acknowledging this idea. I'm not sure if it's a little boy or a little girl. It could be either. But there was something magical about my idea. I had to admit, I felt better and happier when it was around. It wanted food. It wanted to play. Actually, it wanted a lot of attention. It grew bigger, and we became friends. There are not a whole lot of words on the page, but they're very meaningful. I showed it to other people, even though I was afraid of what they would say. I was afraid that if people saw it, they would laugh at it. I was afraid they would think it was silly. And many of them did. They said it was no good. They said it was too weird. They said it was a waste of time and that it would never become anything. Should he listen to these people? Or she listen to these people? I don't think so. And at first, I believed them. I actually thought about giving up on my idea. I almost listened to them. But then I realized, what do they really know? This is my idea, I thought. No one knows it like I do, and it's okay if it's different and weird and maybe a little crazy. I decided to protect it, to care for it. I fed it good food. I worked with it. I played with it. But most of all, I gave it my attention. Didn't give up on his idea. And he didn't listen to others. It's his idea. What do they know about it? My idea grew and grew, and so did my love for it. I built it a new house, one with an open roof where it could look up at the stars, a place where it could be safe to dream. Remember, don't box yourself in. Open that roof. Let yourself dream. Let your ideas and your creativity grow. It's kind of like tech at the end, if you read my tech book or if you listened to me read my tech book. Remember, he went outside. At the end, he got out of his room and he looked at the big, beautiful sky. I liked being with my idea. It made me feel more alive, like I could do anything. It encouraged me to think big and then to think bigger. It shared its secrets with me. It showed me how to walk on my hands because it said it is good to have the ability to see things differently. We want to create new things. We have to look at the world differently, at ideas differently. It's like being good problem solvers. I couldn't imagine my life without it. Then, one day, something amazing happened. My idea changed right before my very eyes. It spread its wings, took flight, and burst into the sky. Remember, it was an egg. And it hatched, and it burst into the sky. It flew. I don't know how to describe it, but it went from being here to being everywhere. It wasn't just a part of me anymore. It was now a part of everything. And then I realized what you do with an idea. You change the world. And notice he has the crown on now. And that's the end of this story. So what'd you think about that? Boy, I tell you, I think this author really has a lot to say. And again, we have to think about the theme of this book, the lesson he's trying to teach you, or she's trying to teach you. And what do you think that lesson might be? You know, everything you see around you was once somebody's new idea, and they stuck to it and they created it, and then it was out there for the world to share. So don't ever let anybody tell you your ideas don't matter, all right? Because you could do something wonderful too that makes the world a better place for all of us. So I hope you enjoyed that story. Thank you for listening. Bye.